Well, good evening, and welcome to the 2020 Path Project Virtual Gala presented by our friends at Primerica. My name is Melinda Hollinsworth, and I'm the Director of Operations for Path Project. If you're new to our work, we serve children and families living in mobile home communities on their path toward high school graduation and finding God's plan for their future. We do this by operating community centers inside mobile home communities that are home to first and second generation immigrant families. We focus on academic support and also positive relationships. We're thrilled that you've joined us this evening to hear about the hardships and the hope that we've experienced over the past several months as a result of COVID. Before we begin this evening, I'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. We're always thankful for our sponsors, but this year we are especially humbled by your generosity. So tonight's presenting sponsor is Primerica. Our platinum sponsors are Rector, Reader, and Lofton, Stripling's General Store, AJ Concrete, and Bank of England Mortgage. Our gold sponsors are Sugarloaf Wealth Management, City National Bank, Hollinsworth Construction, and Metro Waterproofing. Our silver sponsors are Lane's Barbecue, Bonds Team Realty, and Rhodes, Young, Black, and Duncan. Tonight's bronze sponsor is Capital City Home Loans.
Well, good evening. My name is Jim Hollinsworth, and I'm the Executive Director at the Path Project. And as Melinda shared, I want to send a big thank you to our partners and sponsors that have helped make tonight possible. I also want to just pause for a second and acknowledge that this has been a tough year for all of us. Those of you watching tonight, you have experienced challenges that you have never experienced before. Our whole country, our whole world has. So I feel like we're all in this together. Back in March when COVID happened, we had to make some changes as an organization. Some of those were programmatic, which you'll hear about tonight, but others were part of how we do fundraising. So we had to cancel a lot of our fundraising events, and that's part of the reason why we are here tonight at this virtual event. But I'm excited. I'm excited because this is a new opportunity for us. We have never been able to bring all of our sites, all of our Path Project sites together at one time. So some of you may know, some of you may not, but we have 8 communities where we serve. 7 are in Metro Atlanta, 1 is in Tennessee. Tonight, we are coming to you guys from Metro Atlanta at Bethlehem Church, one of our local partner churches who we are super grateful for them hosting this event. But there's also folks coming from around the country, and I want to give a special shout out to those of you watching from the Franklin, Tennessee area. You guys are awesome, and we're thankful that you're here with us tonight. So it is a really cool opportunity for us to bring people together that wouldn't normally be together. And tonight, you're going to hear some really cool updates about what we're doing at Path Project, but it's also a fundraising event for us, and we want to be clear and honest and transparent about that. And so some of you, if you may have to jump off early, we want to make sure we acknowledge what that is. So really quickly, just want to share, and we'll share more about this at the end, but there's a quick way that you can partner with us tonight, and that's simply by sending a text message, texting the word PATH to 55498, this little message here on the screen. So we'd love for you guys to partner with us. As I said, we're going to talk more about that at the end. Right now, we've got a lot of fun stuff, a lot of updates to talk about, so we're going to get rolling.
All right. So I will always remember our first Zoom meeting on Monday, March 16th. We were all a little bit in shock about what was happening in the world and how that was going to impact our work. Now, it didn't take our staff long to figure out ways to stay connected with our families, whether it was through Zoom or over the phone, or sometimes even shouting directions from the street. But we were immediately overwhelmed by the rise in fear and stress and anxiety for the families that we love and that we serve. Now, here's what you should know about our Path staff. They are some of the world's most hardest working problem solvers, and they're compelled by their faith to fearlessly and outrageously love their neighbors. But several months ago, the challenges were too big even for them. We were overwhelmed by this sense of hopelessness because we couldn't take away the stress of digital learning from our families. And we couldn't reopen businesses so that our families could go back to work. And there were so many days that we just felt helpless. But what we began to realize over time was that something special was happening. What was happening is that we were listening more. And as we were listening, we were learning so much more about our work. So today, we're right in the middle of reimagining how we do our work. We're reimagining a more impactful and effective way to serve the families that we love. During tonight's fast-paced evening, you're going to hear directly from our students about the challenges they've experienced during digital learning. You'll hear from our site director, Juan Terrazas, about how our staff has pivoted to meet the needs of our families. And Margaret Jane Strelecki is here from our Franklin site to share how she sees parents and students rising up within her community to take on leadership roles. And our hope is that tonight you will leave inspired by the ways that we have seen God work during some of the most challenging circumstances.
Well, just like Melinda said, we have heard a lot about the challenges from our families and students over the last few months, and we want you guys to be able to hear directly from some of our students as well. So we've got a video that we recorded a few days ago at one of our Path Project sites in Buford with our site director, Hugo Lopez, and one of our high school students, Paola, talking about the challenges of virtual learning. We'd love for you guys to check this video out right now.
Hey everybody, we're here with my friend.
Oh, Peril Placencia?
Hi, so Paola's here with us because she's one of our students who's been doing digital learning. You know, you stay comfortable, maybe in your PJs, you never know, but it's fun. However, let's talk about some of the challenges about digital learning. Have you experienced any challenges doing virtual
when
learning?
I don't understand something, I gotta search it up, and if it's not there or I don't understand, like on a YouTube video, I'm lost. Or if everything is kind of mixed up, I just don't know what I have to do that day, so I'm just very confused sometimes.
Right. So as you can hear, Paola, those are some of the challenges the students are having in our community. So if someone were to ask you, do you think that digital learning is something that is going to stay or is going to go away? What do you think?
I believe it's going to go away because there's a lot of difficulty. You know, it's the comfort of your own home, but it's very difficult for you to learn something new online, you know? So I think it's gonna go away.
So Paola was really clear. Some of the challenges of digital learning is understanding the material. So Paola, thank you so much for your opinion.
Thank
and
you.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to us.
Well, just like you guys heard from Paola, virtual learning has been challenging for our students. There have been other challenges as well, and I'm joined here by my friend Juan Terrazas. Juan is one of our community directors here at Path Project. He works with us in Lawrenceville and in Loganville, Georgia. And so I'm going to ask Juan some questions, just a little bit about what the last few months have been like from his perspective as a staff member working in our neighborhood. So, hey Juan.
Hey Jim.
Glad you're here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So we have all learned a lot, right, over the last few months. One of the things that we noticed really quickly back in March and April was the challenges that we're facing our students for virtual learning, just like Paola just shared. We saw quickly that the lack of access to devices and sometimes internet was a challenge. So as a community director for you, what was the big thing that stood out to you there at the beginning about virtual learning and the challenges? And what was it like when we really kind of dug in to kind of meet some of those needs?
So yes, as you mentioned, the parents didn't have devices to be able to help their students with doing homework. So a lot of parents had to lend their children the phones. Sometimes they had cracked phones that couldn't really see through the screen. Some of them didn't have Wi-Fi at home, and so a lot of that was a big struggle. So we were able to get computers for the families, and during that time we got computers for the families, we listened to them. We wanted to see how we can best serve them, how we can best help them. And the other parents really wanted was to help their children do their homework. So we were able to train the parents on the computers, train them on how to use them, and let the parents know that, hey, this is your computer, so you take charge of it, and so they can delegate on how the children will use the computers. We trained them. We sat down with them one-on-one through the summer, May and June, and it was just a fun time. It was great, like intimate setting, getting to know them at that time.
Yeah, one of the highlights for us during the first few months of COVID was these computers. We've got some pictures we're actually going to show here over the next couple minutes, but this is it was a really great opportunity for you, I'm sure, as a community director to be able to invest in your students and specifically their parents, right, who were facing the same challenges. Those of you at home, you may remember when your kids were trying to do virtual learning at home, how challenging that was. Imagine if you had some struggles with the language and struggles understanding school. Like, that's what we were facing, right? So thankfully, a lot of our partners came together in the community. We were able to purchase over 500 brand new Google Chromebooks and give those out. So Juan, you shared that with us. Tell us a little bit, what's a specific story from that period, from those meetings with families that stands out to you?
Well, I'll tell you that when I personally contacted the parents, I told the parents that, hey, I have a computer for you and your family, and they would look at me, and right away they would be like, what's the catch? Do we have to pay you anything? We were like, no, it's completely free. It's for you and your family. And they were kind of taken back from it because they didn't expect that to happen. So it was awesome to see them excited to receive a computer. I remember one instance, it was my birthday actually in the summer in June. I finished training a mom and one of our middle school girls. The mom found out it was my birthday, so she left, and like about 30 minutes later or so, she came back, and she brought a little cup with a happy birthday cup with a lot of treats inside, and she was just thanking me. She was saying, thank you so much for all you do, for investing in our families, in our community, and you guys are just awesome. You're a blessing to us. So it blessed my heart to hear that the families they welcome us there.
Awesome. So you and the rest of our community directors spent a couple weeks meeting with families, giving out computers. What happened next? What did the end of the school year and the summer look like once our students and families had these computers in their homes?
So obviously they had to do their homework on the computers, but once the summer came around, we were able to get the kids set up on this program called Epic. So on epic.com, there was just a database with a bunch of books that they can read online, and the kids were reading. So every site director was able to manage and see what the kids were reading online, and we can tell who was reading and who was not. And I even had parents texting me through the summer saying, "Hey, is my kid reading? Is he on? Has he been on this past couple of days?" So I was able to connect with the parents, and if they weren't reading, then they would get them on Epic, which was awesome to see that.
Yeah, especially being out of school for so long, it was great to be able to have this resource at home where kids could still read, still stay connected with you or other site directors. And in fact, our students read over 100,000 minutes online on their new computers in the summer. So that was great. Thanks to you, Juan, and all of our site directors. Specifically, I want to talk about something. So our younger kids spend a lot of time reading on Epic. But something cool happened with our middle and high school students that you know about. So I want you to tell us a little bit. So for those of you who are watching, we were able to purchase this book for our middle and high school students, but it's a special book. Juan, will you tell us about this book?
So this book, I helped co-author it several years ago. It was published in 2015, and it's just a book about my personal story, my life story growing up as an immigrant in Dallas, Texas from Mexico, and just going through the struggles that I had to go through to be able to graduate high school, to be able to go to college, and just overcoming a lot. So one of the purposes for the book is to help other people realize, especially youth that grew up in a similar situation, so they can realize that, hey, there's so much more to life, that you don't have to be a byproduct of your mishaps, that you can also overcome, and you can reach your potential as well. And so it was awesome. I love getting pictures from our site directors that they were reading the book with their students. So that was really encouraging.
Yeah, we've got a picture from our site in Franklin, Tennessee, of some of our middle school students reading your book, which has got to be a cool thing for you to see that. So Juan, we're thankful. And for those of you at home, we would love for you guys to check this book out as well. We're going to have a really quick way you guys can purchase this book. It's called Left in America. We've got a screen up here, but if you text the word book to 55498, it's going to link you straight to the Amazon site to purchase this book. So if you're interested in a story, Juan's personal story, his story is incredible. Would love for you guys to jump online, purchase this book. It's really, really a great message. So Juan, that brings us to the fall, right? We made it through the summer, did some reading. We are now in the midst of school. Some of our kids are doing virtual school, some are doing in-person school. It looks different. Our programs look different. What does the fall look like for you and our community directors?
So programs this year have looked a lot different. We have to reimagine, just like the word here. of how our programs are going to look. We've cut down our sizes to 10 and less people in the groups, and it's just been phenomenal being able to connect more with the students. So it's been more about quality over quantity. A couple weeks ago, we had a couple of our former interns that came to visit the middle schoolers at the Gwinnett State site. And with the smaller group, they were able to actually talk to the students, connect with them. And it was just a whole different story because they shared with me about last year when they worked with those students. That the room was full with a lot of teenagers, and they were. It was hard to kind of just get a breakthrough through them just because of the large size of students in the group. So it was encouraging to see how the students were able to better connect with the previous interns. It was awesome.
Awesome, man. So what I'm hearing from you is smaller groups as a result of COVID have actually been a really good thing. And I've actually heard that from a lot of our site directors as well. So what that means for me and for you guys at home is that means we need to raise a little bit more money because it's going to require a little bit more emphasis and intentionality from a staffing and volunteer perspective. So Juan, man, thank you for sharing this. Thanks for being here, man. We appreciate all the work you're doing. Hope you guys, buy Juan's book. It's amazing. We appreciate all he does and all of our site directors do for our students. Thanks, Juan.
Thank you so much.
I'm so thankful that you all got a chance to hear from Juan. As an organization, we lean a lot on his wisdom and perspective in decision making. We're just super thankful to have him on our team. We're also really excited about a new trend that we see developing in Path Project communities. Jim has always said from the beginning that we should continuously strive to be working ourselves out of a job. And by that, he means that we should be seeing community residents come alongside us, taking on leadership positions in their own neighborhood. So tonight, Margaret Jane Strzelecki is here with us to share some things that she sees happening in the Franklin Estates community.
Well, thanks, Melinda. Guys, I am super fired up to be here with Margaret Jane Strzelecki from our Franklin, Tennessee Path Project site. Margaret Jane, you drove all the way to Atlanta to be here with us today, so welcome to Georgia.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so excited to be here. I'm used to looking at you every week through a computer screen, so it is very exciting to be here in person. I also just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to all of you guys watching. I really appreciate that you're willing to support us, and you're taking some time out of your Thursday night to hear what we have to say. So it's great. Thanks.
Awesome. So I'm going to jump right in because I cannot wait to hear from you. Tell us how things are going in Franklin.
Sure. So when I thought about what I wanted to share today, two main thoughts kept coming up. And one of them starts with a story. So it was probably early summer, and I was talking to a friend, and I was just sort of lamenting like how things were changing and summer not going the way I hoped it would and stuff like that. And she said to me, I feel so bad for Jim and Melinda. They spent so much effort building Path Project, and now it's falling apart. And so I kind of agreed and then kept going on with my lamenting. But later, what she said really stuck with me. And I thought, Path Project isn't falling apart. Nothing about Path Project is falling apart. Because Path Project is about more than just a program. Path Project is about walking with families through what life brings and empowering those kids and those families. And that's what we were doing. In a normal year, it looks like an after-school program. During a partial shutdown, it looked like phone calls and Facebook and Zoom and all of those things. And now it's kind of a combination of all of those things. But really, I like to think that we're not really surviving through this time, we're thriving through this time.
I love it. I love that word, thriving. That's so awesome. So you said you had two things. I heard one. Tell us about the second one.
Yes. So the second one, because of COVID, we've had to keep our groups smaller, and we didn't want to have to turn any kid away. So that means we had to have a lot more groups. Okay, so simultaneously, we had a lot of our volunteers that opted to sit this semester out, understandably. So we kind of were left with a problem. And, God provides like he always does, but this time by raising up leaders within the community. So, our assistant community director, Abby, she has taken on more leadership. She's now responsible for the preschool and kindergarten programs, and she is knocking it out of the park with those kids. We also have a mom and volunteer in the neighborhood that runs a first grade reading group for us, and the kids just love coming to her reading group. Yeah, there she is. And we have 4 interns from the neighborhood that work with us too. So it's just, I look around at our leadership and I'm the odd one out. Like I'm the only one not from the neighborhood, and I love it.
Absolutely. I love it. I know you love Abby. She's been just a great addition to the team over the last couple of years. I have been super inspired by hearing your stories about these high school interns, and actually a lot of our other site directors have been really inspired by that as well. We're actually going to hopefully pilot that here in Atlanta a little bit. I want to hear more. I want folks at home to hear more about this internship program.
Yeah, so the internship program is one of my favorite things that I do at Path Project. And it's been a dream of mine for several years, and it just so happened that this was the perfect time to do it. We needed more help at Path Project, and we had a donor that generously donated to cover the cost for the semester. So I was able to hire 4 high schoolers that were in the Path Project, and they work for me about 3 hours a week. Here, you can see it. She's working with a student there. And then they also participate in other enrichment activities. We took a college visit. We're going to volunteer together, things like that. And so I really view the program as a win-win-win program. We're winning because we have these really committed students that are able to come and work for us. The students are winning because this is a job. They had to apply, so they're getting job experience as well as a competitive pay. And they're getting all these other experiences. And really, our younger students are really winning because now they have 4 kids that they can look up to in their neighborhood. And it's fantastic. I love it.
That's so good. That gets me so excited to think about the future in Franklin, in Atlanta. I mean, it's amazing to think about the impact for these high school students, for the entire neighborhood, right? So it's really, really cool thing. So Margaret Jane, you've obviously, you get inspired by this work. I'm inspired by listening to you. Like, what are some specific stories that maybe can be inspiring to the folks watching?
Yeah, I just want to inspire you guys that everybody can go out and love their neighbor, that God has given all of us a skill or a talent that we can use to serve others. A really good example of that actually is another story with our interns. This year, for the first time ever at Path Project in Franklin, we've had a high number of older kids that don't speak any English. And in a typical year, we would have struggled to know how to help them. But God provided 4 bilingual interns that are able to serve those kids amazingly. And in fact, one of our interns even leads an ELL group where she goes over basic vocabulary and gives them an opportunity to ask questions. And so one week, only 1 kid came to that group. And so my intern, instead of being discouraged, she went for it. She taught her lesson the best that she could. And then the next week, the kid comes running up to her, and he's so happy. And he says, I went to school and I knew the difference between glue and scissors. And that sounds like such a small thing, but it was a huge thing to him. And so my encouragement is just like, even if you feel like the skill or talent that you have is a small thing, it's going to be a huge thing to somebody. And God can use that if you'll let him.
That's awesome. So that's obviously an inspiring story. You're inspiring me. Those of you watching from Franklin, we are thankful for you. We love this opportunity here because we all get to be together. Don't tell our Atlanta sites, but y'all are my favorite volunteers. Y'all are my favorite students. So thank you so much for all that you do. Margaret Jane, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
So tonight, I want to share one final encouraging story. Miriam Martinez has been one of our longtime Path students. And this year, she was Shiloh High School's valedictorian. Miriam has already moved away to Ithaca, New York, where she's beginning her freshman year at Cornell University. For as long as we've known Miriam, she's always wanted to be a doctor, and she's worked really hard to pursue that dream. But not only has she worked hard to pursue her dream, she's also volunteered for many years, helping other kids in her community reach their dreams as well. Miriam is this year's recipient of the Royce Duncan Memorial Scholarship, and we are so proud of her and her accomplishments. We'll actually share Miriam's full story on social media later this week. And now Jim's going to tell us how we can stay involved, keep partnering with Path Project, keep all these good stories going.
Awesome. Thanks, Melinda. Guys, tonight we wanted you to hear some of the realities of this COVID season, some of the ways it was really, really hard for our families. But we also wanted you to hear some of the hopeful, inspiring stories. So we hope you're able to hear both of those things tonight together. and just be inspired about what God is doing in these neighborhoods where we serve. The past few months have challenged us in so many ways to reimagine the work that we do. And it's actually challenged us to reimagine our entire mission as an organization. The last few years, we have been super focused on the goal of high school graduation, which is awesome. But the last 6 months have taught us that, hey, our work is actually a lot bigger than that. Just what Margaret Jane shared a few minutes ago, we are involved in these kids' lives in so many ways, and it doesn't just end when they graduate high school, right? What does the ultimate goal look like? So for us, we have reimagined our mission as helping kids find the path to flourishing and God's calling for their whole lives. And we are really excited about the future of that. We are excited about 2021 and beyond. And right now, I want to share with you guys a little bit about ways you can partner with us as we move forward into that season. We shared earlier that we have a really simple way for you to partner with us financially. We know that there are other ways that you guys can serve with us as a volunteer in many capacities. But tonight, we want to be really clear that because of this crazy season in 2020, we do have some financial needs. And we have a way that you guys can give tonight, really simply online from your phone or your tablet. If you text the word PATH to 55498, that is going to bring you straight to a link on our website. And you can make a one-time gift. You can make a monthly gift. We'd love for, obviously, any amount you guys can donate. Want you guys to know, too, that we know that many of you are watching from across the country, specifically in geographic regions related to where our Path Project sites are in Georgia and Tennessee. I want you guys to know 100% that the money you give online is going to go to the site that you choose. So when you get to the donation link on our website, some of you may be there now, there's a drop-down menu. You can click Franklin Estates or Buford or Baker and Glover in Gainesville or Valley Brook or Lawrenceville. And the money that you give, 100% of that donation is going to go straight to the site of your choice geographically or the site that's closest to your heart, right? Either way, we want you guys to know that that is the case. We say this all the time. We want you guys to hear it tonight, is that we are not funded as an organization by one big grant or by the government or by a big foundation. We are funded primarily by local donors in local communities giving to the work that's happening, the work that God is doing in a mobile home park in their community. Local individuals like you, local businesses, local churches, that is how we do what we do. So thank you guys in advance for your partnership. Listen, we know that 2020 has been tough. Believe me, we know it's been tough for you guys. So thank you all in advance for being with us tonight and for your financial partnership to make all of this possible.
And there's one more fun way this evening that you can support Path Project. So from now until Sunday, you can check out and purchase some of this gear. It has the quote from Albert Einstein on it that says, "Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile." So when you go to the link swag at 55498, you can purchase this, and then the proceeds will come directly to us.
So joining me and Melinda on stage tonight are a few of our community directors. These folks work in our neighborhoods every day. So on behalf of these amazing people and on behalf of our staff who aren't here, our volunteers who aren't here across Georgia and Tennessee, we want to say thank you. Thank you again to Primerica for being our sponsor. Thank you to all of our sponsors that helped make this possible. Thank you, Bethlehem Church, for hosting this event for us. We appreciate each of you. We would love for you guys, again, you can partner with us by texting PATH to 55498. You can get some awesome swag that these guys are wearing, texting swag to 55498. Thank you guys so much. Have a great one.
Good night.